Hi, everyone. It's Courtney Harding. And today I want to talk to you about emotions in virtual reality. Now, if you're building VR for learning and training, you might find the concept of building in emotions and planning about emotions to be really silly, right? You just want people to learn a skill or behavior. In fact, you really need to start with any VR experience by defining the emotionality. VR is an extremely powerful, extremely immersive medium. And you want to make sure that at the end of anything that you do in VR, people have a very strong feeling, right? And VR can create these really strong feelings. So let's talk about different feelings you can create in VR. Again, there's no right answer here. It really depends on what you're trying to do. And this is certainly not an exhaustive list of human emotions, but these are some things you really want to think about. So the first is, do you want people to feel empowered? This is great for training VR. You want people to feel like they understand what they're doing, like they know how to do it, like even like they could teach somebody how to do it. So you really want to think about empowering people with this new knowledge to go out and crush it at their jobs. Do you want people to feel uncertain or conflicted? And I know that sounds kind of strange, but there are a lot of jobs in this world where you might not get the right answer all the time. And you really need to understand how to sit with that and feel that conflict. So I worked on a piece where we were teaching social workers how to interview families. And at the end of the day, we wanted people to be questioning their decisions because that was true to life. So that can be very, very powerful. Do you want people to feel uncomfortable? Again, that's a negative emotion. But if you are training people how to have empathy, how to show kindness, how to understand what it feels like to be in someone else's shoes, sometimes those scenarios can be really uncomfortable. I worked on a piece about racial bias where the user was at the receiving end of a bias incident. That's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling in VR. It's not a good feeling in real life. But what it did in VR was teach people who luckily had never had to deal with that exactly how terrible it was and build their empathy. Do you want people to feel excited, right? Great feeling. You want people to feel like, okay, I'm going to get out there, I'm going to do stuff, I'm going to crush it at my job. Excitement works really well when you're training people on things that are maybe not as glamorous or as fun, but definitely need to get done because you can gamify it and make people feel like, oh, I'm winning the game when I'm actually doing my work tasks. Do you want people to feel empathetic? Again, VR allows you to walk a mile in someone else's shoes. If that's the sense you want to create, that's fantastic. Do you want people to feel happy? Sometimes you can just build a pleasurable, happy experience for folks to get them really calm, really relaxed, really excited, and really raring to go. Or do you want them to feel sad? Again, that can be a really good story. It can help them understand the consequences of certain actions. And finally, do you want someone to feel confident? Again, this is really about building people's capacity to learn and train. So if you're doing that, having somebody walk out, take off the headset and walk out of the room feeling confident in their abilities is incredible. Again, there's no right or wrong answers necessarily. This is certainly not everything that you can do, but you really, really need to think about the emotions before you even start thinking about designing the learning for any piece.